right, Mr. Taha Baadi. Nice to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me
Of
a
course,
little bit.
but it's a pleasure.
So Taha, let's start. For the ones that don't know you, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Taha Baadi. I'm a Canadian tennis player. I'm 19 years old. I had highest ranking of 31, I think, in juniors. I've played the Grand Slams. Had a good run in the French Open, Wimbledon, and now I'm currently playing at Wake Forest. I'm a sophomore at Wake Forest, and looking to play professional as soon as I graduate, or even maybe before I graduate. Let's see.
Okay, that's an interesting resume for 19 years of experience of life.
Yeah, no, it is.
So let's go to my first question. I have a bunch of questions here that I've been asking players with your age and your similar life path. And the first one that I'm always curious to know is, how did you get to play tennis? Why tennis and not something else?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, my dad was kind of the person who initiated it. When I was young, I would just watch on TV with him. I would watch Wimbledon. I still remember, and I would watch Federer play. And my dad was like super like passionate about it. Then I would just watch it with him. Then one day, we just decided to go buy some cheap rackets at the store and like a $2 racket. Then we just started to play with me and him in the park, and that's how I really got into it. Then we got a paper from the school that proposed some tennis lessons that was like very, very cheap. And I told my dad, yeah, like I want to try. And this is how I started. I went and did the lesson, and I was pretty good at it. And that's how everything kind of went along with it. I signed up to a tennis club. After the tennis club, I signed up to a bigger one. I got accepted. Then, yeah, I was 8 years old. And I'll say I started playing seriously at like 10 years old.
10 years old. Okay, so before that was like more of a hobby, fun.
Before that, I was playing more soccer. I was very, very big soccer. Then I was playing tennis after the practice and the matches of soccer. Then I just really enjoyed like the individual aspects of the sport. You know, like I remember when I was losing in soccer, I would always blame it on my teammate. I'd be like, no, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Like, oh my God, we lost because of him. We lost because of it. Then that's the part that I really loved about tennis, that it was only myself to blame. And when I would win, then it would be I'm the only winner, you know. So that's the individual part of the sport I fell in love with.
Good, cool. You said in your introduction that you did well at the French and in Wimbledon in juniors. How far did you make it in Wimbledon?
I third round. It was round of 16.
Okay, must have been. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I did well because I never really played on grass before, so I was not expecting any result. And yeah, round of 16, I was not satisfied with it, but I thought when I looked back at it, I thought it was a very good experience.
Yeah, and actually, what caught my attention is what you said as a kid you used to watch Wimbledon.
Yeah.
You got motivated by what must have been a great experience. You know, after you played there yourself and win a couple of matches in Wimbledon, that must have been a really nice experience.
No, it was by far the greatest experience I've had in my life. I remember like I was practicing, I was playing the matches, and I felt like it was not real. I thought I was in a dream or something. Like I would watch all these things on TV, and suddenly I'm the one getting called to go play on court. I'm the one like the crowd is cheering for. Like I got security around me, and it felt surreal. Like that was the best week of my life. It was just like the atmosphere in Wimbledon. You can feel it right away. You feel like there's so much history in that place, and no, it's amazing. My biggest dream is to play it again, hopefully.
Amazing, nice, beautiful experience. Then another question. You mentioned your father going with you, buying the racket. What was your parents' role in your tennis, in your beginnings or until now as a tennis player? What did they do?
I mean, both of them are pretty involved. They follow my results all the time, but I would say my dad was the one who was really took care of me, since even till this day I still listen to his advices. he still helps me with my tournament scheduling. He was the one driving me everywhere to go play all these tournaments. I could almost call him as a coach as well. He would sometimes after matches I would lose and we would go to the park and he would work on. I would never agree with him on what I have to work with, what I have to work on. And you know how difficult it is, to have like a coaching relationship with your dad. Like we would always kind of get some conflict, but at the end of the day, like mentally is the person who's helped me the most. I have full faith in his advices when it comes to mental side. No, he's very, very, very involved, but always in the good way, always supportive. Sometimes he would be the one after losses to wake me up and get me started for the next week. And no, he was my main motivation for my whole career, and it still is till this day.
Beautiful, wonderful, very nice. And did you have any other coaches beside your dad when you went to those clubs?
Yeah. I had my first coach was a coach at Tennis Montreal. It was like the coach of the group, but I would say my main coach that I've worked with, that I still talk to this day and still work with if I'm in Montreal, is a coach named Francis. After I remember I was at Tennis Canada, and I was at Tennis Canada, then I kind of like got separated from Tennis Canada, and he's the coach who like believed in me and took me like in his wing, and he was like, no, I think you have the level, I think you can be great in tennis. And he always believed in me, and like we worked on a lot of things. He's the one who put it like an aggressive mindset when it comes to tennis. Then we've worked for I think 4 or 5 years, and I ended up going back to the training to the National Training Center. They took me back after working with him. And now when I come back to the summer and college, after college, I still work with him.
Francis.
Francis. Yeah, I traveled with him a couple times. We had some great tournaments, but I think he is like my main coach that I've had since my beginning of the career.
Yeah, nice to have somebody like that, especially somebody that believes in you besides your family as well. Obviously.
Yeah, and also at Tennis Canada, I had some coaches. I had one coach named Ruben that I spent like 2 years of my life with. We were traveling all around the world in junior tournaments, and some other coaches that were there on and off, and with the National Training Center.
Taha, if you look back to your very beginnings after you bought those rackets, what do you think was your learning style when you studied? Was it like more practical, just go out there and hit the ball, or was it technical, or was like a philosophy installed on you? You got to run for everything, or you got to fight, or how was it?
It was a very progressive learning experience. I started with a lot of technical stuff when I was younger. I was trying to get every shot as perfect technically as it is to generate as much power as I want and in the most efficient way. So when I was young, I always wanted to play points. So you would have to force me to not play points during practice. This is how I enjoyed the most tennis, of just playing matches, playing sets. But then my coaches did a great job technically. And as I grew up, it was a little bit less technical and more tactical, and a lot of more matches and points, like what I enjoyed to do. And now it's still the same thing. I would say it's more tactical and more mental side a lot. I've worked a lot on the mental side of tennis. I think that's one of the aspects I can improve till this day. I still can. But yeah, it was very progressive. I started with technical, then switched a little bit more to tactical, and now it's more tactical mixed mental, not a lot of technical anymore.
Okay, understand. And you mentioned that you used to watch TV and watch Federer, and you said anybody else. Did you have like any role model or anything that motivated you and kept you going? Because I imagine you started before 8. With 8 you joined the club, so probably you hit balls before that. So it's been 10 years. What has been your motivation to stay around?
Yeah, in tennis, my role model was always Federer. Outside of tennis, it was Muhammad Ali. That's the guy I've always looked up to. I've watched like all of his fights, all of his press conference. But no, definitely Federer on court. I've always enjoyed the way he behaved off the court and on the court. And it was just to see him do all these things over and again, and even like not letting the age affect his game, and still being passionate about the sport for so long. Yeah, no. So he's been the guy I've been looking up to my whole life.
Well, yeah,
No,
it definitely is.
What kept me going is just the motivation to like one day be on the same stages as them. I did it a little bit in juniors because I can say that they were there as well, but it was not the same tournament, so the goal is not achieved. But to just be on the same stage as those guys and to be able to compete with them, and that was the main motivation thing for me.
Understand? Yeah, it's a puller. Huh?
Yeah.
Then do you have like in these 10 years, for example, any moment of learning of a big insight, something you learn and you say, wow, this was a game changer for me at some point in my development?
I think I'm going through it right now. I have like a wrist injury that I've been bothering me for the last 7-8 months, and I'll probably need to do surgery in 2 weeks, so I won't be able to compete for I think 4 or 5 months. And I've never went more than like a month without competing, so that's gonna be like a big learning experience. I'm just curious to see how I'm gonna like spend my time without playing tennis. If I'm gonna go back home or stay here. And you know, it's but I still believe it's part of the process, and still good days are ahead. But yeah, it's definitely I'm working on my patience right now, and just to be as productive as possible without tennis, which is difficult since my whole life tennis was the main thing of my life. So this is a big learning experience I'm going through right now.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. Surgery, injuries are never easy. So my next question. This
is my first injury too, so I'm not used to going through rehab, surgery, and all these things. So that's why it's very, very new to me.
Yeah. So my next question is totally out of place, because the next one is which one is your biggest challenge right now? I assume that's the biggest challenge right now, is get healthy again.
Yeah, it is. Most definitely.
Yeah. What are you more concerned about this whole thing? Is getting healthy, or losing a little bit of your rhythm in the game, or what is it?
I'm just hoping that the surgery goes well and I get back to my normal wrist as soon as possible, because I know some couple guys that had the exact same injury, and till this day, like they've been like 3 or 4 surgeries and they're still struggling with it. So my concern is that I just hope everything goes back to normal after doing their injury, and I don't have to like worry about it for the rest of my life. And as well, the level, I think my expectations are going to be pretty low. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. I know that coming back from injury is very difficult. So I'm not too worried about the level of my game. I know that it'll take time, and I'm surrounded by the right person. So I got the good people around me to help me work on my game. So that's not going to be the issue. It's really, I'm just hoping to get as healthy as possible, as soon as possible, without any issues on the side.
Yeah. So your forecast is like a couple of 4 or 5 months, 3 months, 4 months. What is your forecast to?
6 weeks in a cast, then like 2-3 months rehab. So you can say 3 months and a couple of weeks.
Okay, and then you can start slowly.
But
rehab.
The left wrist, so I can still practice my serve, backhand, slice, volleys.
Yeah. Okay, that's an advantage, no? You can still do some
part,
some moving and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the one thing that makes you the happiest about tennis?
The happiest?
Yeah. Did you say, wow, I'm so happy, so grateful that about tennis because of this?
Yeah. Just the experience of traveling around the world. Like I'm 19 years old, and I've been through so many countries, and it's just like a very rare experience to get into if you don't play tennis. It's one of the few sports that you really have tournaments every single week, and in different cities and different countries, different continents. So that it makes me very happy. But what makes me the happiest is just winning. The feeling of just getting in the car after a long 3-hour match and knowing that you just battled and you won. That's the best feeling in the world. And especially when your family is around you and that your loved ones are around you, that's nothing is comparable to that for me in terms of happiness.
So you prefer to win a match with a big challenge in 3 hours than to win a match 2-2 in an hour and 15?
I'd rather win 2-2, but
2-2 an hour and
depends
15.
against who. Depends against who. If the
Yeah,
opponent is better than me and I win in 3 hours, then I'm happier. But if it's like an opponent I should beat easily and I go 3 sets, I'm not satisfied with myself.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So
But
happy
the six two
can
six two the
vary.
6-2 6-2 feels pretty good as well.
Yeah, I take that. I
Yeah,
take that every time.
yeah, yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you told me already a little bit, but let's go a little deeper here. What do you dream about? What is your big dream with tennis beside playing the same coulisses as
Yeah.
the good guys? Do you have like any
My
specific thing?
I mean, yeah, my biggest dream was always to win Wimbledon, but it is a very big dream, and yeah, hopefully I get to fight for the dream at least. But yeah, winning Wimbledon sounds unreal to me.
Okay, so Wimbledon is your motivation, huh?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
This is how I started tennis, so to maybe finish it like that, then that would be insane.
yeah. And how did you like the surface when you played there? Was it
It
difficult?
was it was more difficult than I expected it. I thought it was just the only thing I would have to change would be the trajectory of my ball to play a little flatter, but that was the last thing that was tough to change. It was really the movement that I was kind of struggling with the first few weeks. Like you have to stay very very low to change direction. You got to be careful. Like I didn't know how slippery it was until I really played on it. It was very
Yeah.
slippery, and you cannot like make some full sprints because it's so tough to change direction after. And it's just a different type of workout for the legs. Like you feel a different type of pain in your body after leaving a grass match than a clay court match. You're
Hmm.
like you're it's very muscle tiring.
Did you have the right shoes, like the grass court shoes, or
Yeah,
you play?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes,
No,
yeah,
if I didn't have the right shoes, I would never been able to play.
yeah. You've been
Impossible.
sitting or laying more
Oh
often on the
yeah,
court than
I'll be
standing.
sliding like it would be ice hockey.
Yeah, but you have an advantage, is that you play soccer, so
Yeah,
it would have been
I'm used to
would have
moving
been
on grass. Yeah,
familiar. Yeah,
yeah. No,
to be
that's true.
rolling on
It
grass.
was
Yeah.
no, it was very fun.
Okay. Um, Besides this injury, which I think, as you said, it will be a good learning experience. Do you have any other life lessons that you can take for you from tennis? Something you say, okay, the day I stopped tennis, I learned this, or that, or all this. What is
I
it?
mean, I feel like the most of my life lessons that I've learned come through tennis. Tennis teaches you so many skills that you will keep with you for the rest of your life, like being patient, not using your emotions to thinking with your head and not your emotions, dealing on situations under pressure, which you will face that every like very often in your life. Just never giving up, never give up on your dream. It's crazy how sometimes things can change very fast. You think the world is against you. You think everything is going to hell, and you're not playing well. Then you get one win, then everything changes, and suddenly you feel like you're on top of the world and you're playing the best tennis of your life. And I feel like this is like a good experience for life as well. So many people have been going through so many bad mental stage, and they don't know that they're just like a call away from changing their life, or like just like us, a match away from changing your life. And that was a very very big lesson that I learned from tennis, to just be patient, trust the process, and if you stay positive, then most likely things are going to go right for you.
Do you think? Do you consider yourself to be one mental player, or more feelings oriented, like, or intuition? What would you say about
No,
you?
yeah,
You're
I'm more
connected with your
intuition.
body or with your head more?
I'm not. I'm more an intuition player. I like to not really think of what do I have to do before the match and everything. I like to just go with the flow and see how I feel, and play it at the moment present. But the mental side is definitely something I need to improve on. Sometimes I feel like I get too emotional, and especially during practices. It's more during practices. During matches, my mental side is good. but during practice, I get too tough on myself. I'm like, I get too negative sometimes because I want things to be perfect, and that's what I struggle with. But I'm definitely like an intuition type of player when it comes to matches.
Okay. And a question: when your intuition is going well, do you have like any strategy to turn it on, or it just happened?
Yeah, my strategy is to think about the best matches that I've had in my life, and to
Okay.
kind of visualize that, and like try to visualize it and put it in play right after. Like, I feel like thinking about my old matches that I did well always helped me to play well at the moment. And just visualization is a big thing. Like, whenever I like visualize some positive things before my match, and sometimes I feel like I wake up and I already know I'm gonna play well. It's just like an intuition thing, and those are usually the best day. But then when it gets tough is when you wake up and you don't know if you're gonna play well. Then it's time to like visualize and think of positive things and think of the best matches you've played, and just have a good idea of what's gonna happen in the match, and kind of play the match in your head before you even play it. That has helped me a lot.
Okay, good. So there is a strategy in place, like to turn that button on.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could go back and give little Taha, when you started to play tennis, when you got accepted to that first club, an advice, what would you tell him?
An advice?
What would you tell little Taha?
I would tell myself to work harder, probably. When I was young, I like, when talking about very, very young, I did take tennis seriously, but I always just wanted to play match, and I didn't really enjoy the practice part, the conditioning, the fitness. Like, I never really took pleasure to do those things. And I feel like if I did when I was younger, then maybe it would have helped me now. But again, like, I would have never known. But yeah, definitely work harder and do the small things right. The little things are so important in tennis. You have no idea. Like, there's so many things like warming up or like stretching after practice that I would think are kind of useless because I was young and didn't know any better, and I would just skip. But looking into this day, like, that was a mistake. I should have done those things. I've seen so many guys do it, and now they're at the highest level, and it's because of those small things. It's not because of the tennis part. It's what they do outside of the court.
So if I understand correctly, these little things trigger what? Trigger discipline? Is that what makes a difference, or the little things make a difference?
Yeah, it triggers discipline, and you just feel like by doing those things every day, it becomes a habit. Then you get on edge on people. If you start stretching every day, then you'll get more flexible. Your body's going to recover faster. And even mentally, when you're playing a match and you're like in a tough moment, you know that you have done everything for this match, and you have no pressure on yourself. You've prepared correctly. Your mind is, your conscious is like, it's positive. You did everything that you needed to do, so you don't have any pressure to do. And it's just good to have on your mind to like to have that.
Yeah, I got it. I was just like you probably. When I was a kid,
Oh, really?
I only wanted to make it roll.
Yeah.
Probably my warm up was 3 minutes, and then let's play sets.
Yeah, exactly. That was the same thing. Yeah.
And I took that professionally because I did it until I was 17. I think before 17, I never drilled.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's different times. No, we didn't have also the culture. I mean, you guys have nowadays. No, you're way more structured to do things. And
if I didn't have any coach, if I was in your position, I would have done the same thing until maybe 19, 20, 21. I don't know. I was lucky to get coaches that were always good on putting me back on track.
Yeah, but it has an advantage. So the advantage for you maybe is knowing you is that you understood how to play the game well.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No?
Yeah. By playing so many matches, and you just know how to compete well as well.
Yeah.
Like, you don't fear competition, and you enjoy it. I've had a lot of people on the other side that they practice very, very, very good, and when it comes to matches, they kind of like shy away from the pressure, and they're a little bit scared of it. And that was never an issue for me. I just always loved competing, and I always loved to go out there and play for the big moments and everything.
Yeah, I think that's big. What you say there is big. That you enjoy competition instead of fearing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's big. Taha, those were all my questions. I loved your answers. So good, and I think this is so helpful also for other players. And you have no idea how much I learned from these conversations. I've had a few already with
Not as
young.
much as I learned from you every day.
But yeah, I learned a lot. I find super interesting to understand your past, because at the end of the day, when you play, the one person you know the most is yourself.
Yeah, yourself.
But now
exactly.
I can look from a different perspective and look at you guys, how good you are and how you do things, and awesome. So I thank you very much. I wish you have no idea how much luck on your surgery and a very fast recovery, so you can enjoy competition
so much,
again.
brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's always a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate everything you've done. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I'll see you around.
See you
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, take care, Taha. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
See you.